everyone and welcome back. This is my first video of 2020, so I just want to wish everyone a happy, healthy, and blessed new year. So today we are creating this very sweet Valentine banner, and I am combining the Love Notes collection from Authentique paper with my very own printable images from my shop. This is the Valentine cherub tags. I'll leave a link in the description below so you can check them out. I opened this file in Word and then I clicked on the image and drug that corner in because I wanted these to be sized just perfectly for these banner shaped sections. So they're just a little over 1.25 inches width, and they fit perfectly onto these shapes, and I think they coordinate so well. So stick with me and we'll make these together. I want this banner to be very sturdy, so I am starting with a base of 110-pound cardstock. I've cut this with the banner shaped die. It has a stitched edge detail and it is a nesting die, so I have several that go down in size increments so that they can be layered. I picked this one up from Gina Marie Designs. I did check to see, and that was no longer available in stock, but you could use any fishtail banner shape that you like, and you also don't have to use a die. You can just clip this out from a template. So I'm gonna start with that base, and now I am adding my back panel. I do want this to be finished and look nice on the back, so this is going to be my first pattern paper layer. This is from the Love Notes collection from Authentique paper, so I've got that covered on both sides, and that is going to create a super sturdy base. My next layer is cut from that same collection, and I have used a complementary pattern. So this is mostly a tone on tone and it's darker, and this one has a little bit more pattern and lighter, so you will definitely be able to tell all of the nice layering. So I'm going to do the same thing as on the base. I'm putting this on 110-pound cardstock just because I like all those layers to be very sturdy, and you can see that I have put this with foam layering between because I want to build a lot of dimension and have a nice layered look. I've got an extra piece of that large banner shape cut from a piece of scrap, and I am using this as a template. So I have punched a hole in the corner where I'm going to thread that ribbon through, and I have used this same template to cut the other pieces of the banner, which I have prepared in advance. So you can see that I just flip that over, and that is going to keep all of these holes at the top consistent and make sure that I don't accidentally punch through the edge. So now that I have that all set, I'm going to add my second layer, and I'm going to use not only that double-sided tape but also a little bit of this tacky glue, and that is just an extra measure of protection so that I'm sure that all of these pieces will stay in place. I am just going to center that right on the base. There'll be plenty of room to run that ribbon through, even though a little bit of that hole is covered. Got this very sweet little doily, and this die came from Amazon. I cut it with just a nice crisp white cardstock, and I'm going to add that with just a touch of hot glue, and it's going just about in the center. My next layer up is a third pattern from that same collection. I have added it to the foam again, and I'm going to add the double layer of adhesive again. And now the base for this large center banner section is done. Here's that tag from the digital collage, and I picked the 3 of the images that had the heart shape on them just for consistency, and I have added that to some more 110-pound cardstock, and then added a little bit of adhesive foam for the back. You can see that I also added an eyelet, so this is in a coordinating pink color, and then just a little bit of twine for the top, and that's a nice detail. I'm going to center that right to left, but hang it just a little bit higher than the center of that circle. And now I've got my flowers. So let me tell you how I'm spacing these. Here are my finished portions. And I know that I've got this one intended to be on the right hand side and this one on the left. And here is the center. So my flower arrangements go from the right, and then this one is centered, and this one is going to come in from the left. And so that makes the design very well balanced. Here are flowers that I've created. The top one here is that poinsettia die from Becca Feekin. I cut that with more of the pattern paper from the collection, but this time I chose the 6x6 paper pad because I wanted that checker pattern to be very small so that none of it would be lost in the die cutting. I've also added some stamens here and a little bit of stickle detail on the tips of the petals. Here is smaller white flowers. These are cut from the cherry blossom die from Cherryland Designs. More of the stamen, and then I completed this arrangement with some die cut hearts in a glittery pink, and then loopy twine bows and some nice bright green foliage. These were the rose leaves from Cherryland Designs as well, and I'm just going to add this one here on the left. So this tells a complete story when they're all attached. I'm just adding that with a bit of hot glue because this arrangement is a little heavy, so I want to make sure to give it a nice strong adhesive. Okay, you see on my first two that I have added a small heart charm. You can pick these up from the Funky Junky Boutique, and I've just run a little bit of thread through that so that I can hang it on the front here of this panel. And I'm just going to place the heart where I want it to fall, and then see how far up that string needs to go to be in hot glue to hold it in place, and then I'll tap it with a button. So that is going to fall just where I want it. This is a good time to clip off the excess thread. And here I've got my last button for this. And now this is a actual vintage button found in an antique shop. You don't have to use that. I think pink buttons would look just lovely. And I'm gonna cover those tails. So now I've got a nice finished look on that detail. I'm going to thread all of this on to this lovely pink checkered ribbon that coordinates perfectly, and then I'm going to also add the additional tags from that collage sheet. So I have already clipped these out. I've added them to the collection paper. Remember, I wanted this to look nice and finished from the back as well. And then I used the smaller punch on my crocodile, made a smaller hole here so that it doesn't take up too much of the front. And then I added a little detail with the stickles. I'm going to alternate these in between the larger banner shapes. That's a pretty simple method to get that banner shape on. You see, I've just gone over and then under, it went to the back, and then I brought it up through, and you can see how there was plenty of room there for that ribbon to go through, even though the holes were slightly covered with the next layer. Make sure that you add a generous length of ribbon so that you will have enough room, enough length to display it. Okay, so I have those all threaded on to that large length of ribbon, and I'm going to come back in with my smaller tags, just putting a little bit of thread through that smaller hole, and I'm going to tie that right onto the portion in between those larger banner shapes. Now I took a minute to space those out so that when it hangs there will be plenty of room for this to hang freely between them. You don't want them all jammed up. And that's just a quick knot there. I'll take off the excess. Then I'll do the same for the remaining 3 tags. Okay, I've got all of my tags on now, and this is a good time to make sure that everything is spaced out the way that you like it, because when you add your bows, that's really gonna lock those sections into place. I've just got a loopy twine bow. I've got another bow on top made with twine, and then another vintage button for each bow section. And there are 4, so one between each of these larger sections and one for each end. And that is all for my Sweet Valentine banner created with the $1 download Valentine cherub printable from our shop. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you give me a thumbs up and leave me a comment. If you're not already, I would love for you to subscribe. As always, I'm wishing you a happy and productive day. Bye!